FTX, now helmed by John J. Ray III, is seeking to claw back some $1 billion in cash, stocks, and other assets from former executives, including Sam Bankman-Fried himself. The lawsuit alleges that the fraudulent transfers of cash and shares finance political donations, real estate buys, you name it. There's also some strange details relating to Sam Bankman-Fried's brother and some aspirations around making an effective altruist colony on a tropical island. Some more crazy, strange details emerging from this story in the form of a fresh lawsuit with a big old number attached to it. Jen, I'm going to toss it to you.
Another day, another FTX drama. And when we spoke yesterday about the current FTX leadership trying to get funds back from multiple different organizations that received money from them, I think this is just all part of the bankruptcy proceedings. I think as much money as they can get back, they will get back, as people don't want to be attached to the name FTX anymore. They don't want to be attached to all of this drama that's happening. And so if the money still exists, it will go back. I think, of course, this is a little bit different than what we spoke about yesterday. This involves Sam Bankman-Fried, his family members, others on the leadership team. That island piece is absolutely insane. Lawrence and I chatted about it a little bit on First Mover this morning. He was just kind of dumbfounded by this. Like, how do you buy an entire island? There are people who live there. Probably you can't just turn it into a bunker for you and the rest of the effective altruists should there be an apocalypse one day. It's just like an absolutely insane turn to the story that, again, Zach, you can't write. Like, I can't wait to see this turned into a movie and see all the different ways the story turns play out on a big screen. There are some other really weird notes in here. $400,000 went to an entity that produced YouTube videos about effective altruism. I believe there's another $30,000, which is small change when we look at the numbers here, that went towards a book that wasn't going to investigate something about humankind. I don't have it in front of me, but it's just absolutely wild. And the last wild point I will point out before kicking it off to you, Will, was Sam Bankman-Fried's brother, Gabriel, was the founder of an advocacy group called Guardians Against Pandemics. I believe we've spoken about it on the show before, which raised $22 million. This now says that most of that came from Sam Bankman-Fried himself. Will?
Which probably meant that it came from a loan from FTT tokens or just from customers themselves. So, I mean, that's the thing with these whole lawsuits, right? Like, we continue to see that there's been a large commingling of funds between Alameda Research and FTX, and also just the mass printing of FTT tokens, and then using that as the means to get a loan out into USDC or another stable coin so they can go make purchases or go make all these like different media products, right? So you mentioned the $400,000 for a YouTube series. There was a $30,000 grant for a book. There's like a lot of odd stuff in here. The one that really stood out to me the most was a $22 million bonus given to Ellison by herself in the middle of a cash crisis at Alameda Research, which is just wild, right? Like, I wish I could write myself a $22 million check, and I guess she took advantage of that. They're going to have to pay for this, right, though, because they've either turned state's witness and turned in, and they're going to take the plea deal, and it's probably not going to be a very comfortable sentence, even though they have given into the plea deal. Or you're on the other side with Sam Bankman-Fried, who is going to go into this trial with all these headlines heaped on top of them. Now, the last part that's sort of interesting to me, and we've talked about this yesterday, is how this works in a Chapter 11 sense, right? So John J. Ray III is working to get all this money back on behalf of all the customers of FTX. But the question is, like, can you get all this money back? Because a lot of times it has been issued out, and maybe they were poor deals, but they were deals nonetheless, and it might be outside that window. So again, if you are a Chapter 11 expert, a legal expert, and want to talk to us on the show about it, we'd love to hear from you, because I don't get how they get this money back. I don't know. Zach?
Wow, that was a nice call to action. That was very smooth. I don't know. I didn't read the legal document, just read some of the stories, but where in the world is Sam Trabucco, right? The former co-CEO of Alameda. Is it in this document? Does it say where Sam Trabucco is, besides being over water, as he famously said one time? That, to me, remains sort of an under-discussed aspect of this whole saga. Where is Sam Trabucco? That's what I want to know. I don't know if it's in there. I'll do some control Fing a bit later on in the document itself. But if you guys know, I ask you, what do you think about that angle?
That's going to be a great fake tweet one of these days from some account that changes his handles and his profile pic. Sam Trabucco arrested or something like that. We don't know. I haven't heard anything about it since. It's really odd because everyone else, again, took the plea deal. Everyone took the plea deal here except for Sam Bankman-Fried. So why has he not appeared on the scene? Maybe he's scot clean because he quit early and got out of it. I don't know. Jen?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
That'll be for season 4. That'll be for season 4, guys. After the trial, we're breaking this up. We're breaking the FTX story into seasons now. So we gotta save some good stuff for later.